Testing.
Yeah.
Can you hear?
We're on.
Testing.
Okay.
You want to hold it, or do you want me to just swing the arm over?
Oh, I got it.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh,
Oh. Thank you, Melissa.
Okay, so when I saw T.G. Young Park on there, I thought maybe you wanted to know what I was going to be doing up there.
Yes.
So I can real quick go over that.
Okay.
This year I'll be doing mulch on the playground for sure. And one of the things I wanted to do is get the bocce court up and running so people can use it and have some kind of surface for the bocce balls to be in a, in a container that's locked, and we'll just have a code and have people go up there if they want to play bocce. So that was my goal for last year, but we never got it done. So I'd like to do that this year. And that's about it. I don't know if we need dirt for the fields. I won't know that till springtime. But I'm sure we're going to have the weed killers, the True Green people coming out to kill the weeds. But that's
What
about all I
about the
have.
mulch for the swings?
Yeah,
the
I'll definitely
playground?
do that this year because I didn't do it last year. So I'll definitely do it. It's time. Okay, so on to the Parker program. So I gave you a spreadsheet showing you what we had in '24, what the fees were for 7 weeks. And I broke it down by week, by day, and by hour for the resident fee and also the non-resident fee. And you'll see that for residents, it was like $50 a week. Per hour, it was $1.43, which isn't a lot. For non-residents, it was $135.71 per week, and breaks it down to $3.88 per hour. So I went online to look at what other cities are doing. At first, they didn't have their 25s posted, but we got a few of them this year. So Valley View, they haven't posted their 25 yet, but they raise their prices every year. So I know they're going up, but this is last year's price. So for non-residents, it was $2,000 last year, and that will be going up. And then for residents, it was $1,350. And the breakdown is below. So for residents, it's $135 a week, and it's $3 an hour. And that'll be going up, so it'll be more this year. And for non-residents, it was $200 a week and $444 an hour, and that will also be going up. For Twinsburg, I can only get the 24 pricing. I'm assuming theirs is probably going to go up too. I didn't talk to anybody there. The resident fee was $11.25, breaks down to $125 a week, $278 per hour. And then the non-residents was $2,025, $225 per week, $5 per hour. Now Macedonia did post their 25, so I did change this to show the 25. So these are the new fees: $12.15 for residents, $135 a week, $3 per hour. And then for non-residents, it's $13.50, $150 a week, $333 an hour. Bedford is always the lowest, but I think they have grants, and that's why. But so these are not comparable with ours. $632 for resident fee and $792 for non-residents, and you see the breakdown there. It's $79 a week, $1.76 per hour. And for non-residents, it's $99 per week, $2.20 an hour. The last two, I put them on here because they're in the area, but they only accommodate for residents. And you'll see that their fees are up there too, which I was quite surprised about Independence. But $1,800 for residents, and they're getting $200 a week per child, $444 an hour. And Solon, it's about the same, $17.10 though for the residents. So that was the breakdown, with comparisons. On the back of that page, you'll see we did look into our field trips this year and what they're gonna cost. It's a little bit higher than last year. The Be a Sweetie and Hold'em Arboretum, Canopy Walk, those are in red because they haven't given us a fee for this year. So those were last year's fees. So I put them in red. So that's approximately what it's gonna cost for, if we had 50 participants, 50 campers and counselors going. We just averaged it at 50, and that's what the total cost would be, just to go to those field trips. And the item at the bottom, the inflatables, that's the last day of camp. We do a party, and we have 2 inflatables. That's the cost for the inflatables this year. Just to give you an idea.
I have a question for you,
Okay.
Natalie. For fee per person, so each child or camp counselor all pay their fee
Yes,
to go
yeah.
on the trip?
Right.
Do they all go, or do we have to leave half behind, or how is that usually? Like,
If they go, I mean, they come to the camp if they're, yeah, they all go if they come to camp. So if they don't want to go, they just don't come.
okay, so they do pay their $9 or $11, whatever it costs.
It's included
To
in the
go.
fee that we charge. We don't charge them extra.
They
That-
don't pay, well, that's what I'm
that's-
asking.
yeah,
Do they
the
pay
fee that-
extra to go on
no,
the field
no.
trips?
No, that's
Natalie,
included in the price.
Did everybody go on the trips there, or there some?
Not always, no. I mean, we only had 28 kids last year, so it was a big difference in the participants. And they don't, I mean, they might be sick,
Yeah,
different reasons,
Vacations,
yeah.
but,
Not always.
but they all, okay, all right.
But to like go bowling, are they making it a minimum 50? Or if we
No,
only have
no, we-
25 or 30?
No, we can give them whatever number, but we based it on 50.
Okay,
So, and we don't, so this is different. We used to pay ahead of time. Now I can pay that morning. I think we put it on the credit card. Are we still putting it on the credit card? Nicole? Are we still putting it on the credit card for the participants for camp? Okay, because a lot of times they don't come. So when I was putting it on the credit card, it was beneficial to us because then I didn't pay for somebody that wasn't there. So if I plan, if I have to pay ahead of time, then I'm paying for somebody who doesn't show up at camp.
so like Sky Zone would take the payment right there that morning when you're showing up with the
Exactly,
kids?
that's, yeah, I was doing that, but I think we got away from using the credit card. So that was a savings when I was doing it by credit card.
Natalie, can I ask you, what's Urban Air?
Urban Air, it's just like a jumping inflatable place. They have all kinds of things.
Close by, or?
There's a couple of them. There's one, I think we go to the one in Akron. That's the closer one. There's one out Westlake. They're it's fairly new,
Yeah,
but they love it. So that was a breakdown of the costs. If you look at the next page, it shows you what we spent last year. And I did get the last bus fee in December of ¡24. It's at the bottom, so I was able to subtract that off the expenses. You'll see at the bottom of the chart, bus fee was $718.50. So that was our final number. That was revenue less expenses. Now, this does not include staffing.
Right.
Right, I never
Right.
included staffing. And on the back of this that second page, you'll see our PO with all the deductions of all the expenses, which came out to a total of $5,661.81. I do expect it to be a little bit more because some of those prices for the field trips especially went up. Food costs go up, so I'm sure it's going to be a little bit more. And depending on how many kids we get. So going back to the fees, I know you had some recommendations for fees. I didn't put it on here. I figured we'd just talk about it.
Yes, when we all talked about it here, and our council people, we felt a $50 increase for the resident fee. So instead of 350, it would go to 4. The grandchildren fee, instead of 450, would go to 500. And the non-resident fee would go up $100 to 1,050,
So 50, 50, and 100.
which puts it like $12 a day for your child to come to the Parker program.
Okay. At the last meeting that I was at, I thought I was expected to cover some of the staffing. This definitely would not cover the staffing, just so you're aware of that.
Right. This
Okay.
doesn't even cover all your expenses, let
No,
alone
no.
the payroll. But I do see we only have 7 weeks, and some of these
Yes.
others are 9, 8, 10.
Right. The
Is there a
other,
reason why we cut it off at 7?
well, we were 4 days a week, and it was always around it was 7 weeks when I think I started here. But it was 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. So we added Friday. And our camp is not so much a daycare, where everybody else's is. Like at Independence, they're open at 7 in the morning and they're closed at 6 at night. So the average for these other camps, they're more of a daycare for the parents. And they're open longer. And some of them have before care and after care. We tried that, nobody wanted it. I think in Walton Hills, it's just a little different. It's not like a daycare it's our grandparents that are watching the
Right,
kids.
Right.
So
Well,
they
some of
bring
the
them to have
communities
fun.
have the
Right.
before care, and they
Yeah.
pay extra, so it isn't this fee.
Right, it's not
this fee
mandatory.
plus.
Right. So there's a little bit of difference. Their hours are much longer than ours. We start at 9 and we are ending at 4. So it's a 7-hour camp. For everybody else is a little bit longer. I based it on 9 hours for everybody else. Some of them are longer, some of them are a little around that 9-hour time frame was an average. So that's what I based it on.
Yeah, I see we do 7 hours.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, all the rest are 9 hours.
It's not like they're dropping their kid off to go to work and they need to be there early.
Right.
That's not the case. And
We never increased when you added the 5th day, so then,
we did
one-
in I want to say it was 22. That was the last time we did the increase. And that is when we added the day, when I took it over. It was after Maya was here. We added 5th day, I believe.
okay. And did you recommend, I mean, I told you what I feel.
Yeah, we
should
had some
go to, or what
recommendations.
we should feel, but,
Yeah, my recommendations were based off, like, trying to cover staff. So if we're not trying to do that, then I'm not even going to recommend anything.
okay.
I'll go with whatever you want me to do.
Well, I feel we haven't raised it in a couple years now,
Right.
and it's not unrealistic with the expenses. All of them have gone up these past 2-3 years.
Exactly.
And of course payroll too, but it is a benefit to the residents. The children enjoy it thoroughly to go there. And I know our grandchildren enjoyed it years ago when they were kids. So I definitely don't want to make it out of reach for our residents.
Well, if you're okay with that, I will just increase it to $50 for residents, $50 for grandchildren, and $100 for non-residents.
Right.
Is that
When do
something
you
you have to vote on?
I notice you have your hiring already, which is
Yeah.
great to try and get. Have we gotten any response yet?
Yes, I have 3. So my teachers aren't coming back, my leaders, so for different reasons. But I have 3 applications for leaders and probably about 8 applications for counselors right now. So, and I'm going to reach out to the current counselors and see if any of them are coming back first.
Now, I did have a resident ask if they were to be hired as a camp counselor and bring their children into the program also, if there would be a way to get a discount. I don't know if, Freddie, if anybody's ever mentioned it to you, to have, it's almost like an employee discount.
Exactly.
I mean, it would be rare to have a camp counselor with their own children there, little children.
So I was looking at someone last year who was a resident that wanted to come on board, and the mayor and I talked about it, and we didn't offer the discount, because then if we gave her a discount, we would have to give that to every employee. So we didn't end up doing that, and she didn't come on board.
Okay, she changed her mind then at that point
Yeah, she,
because of no discount.
right.
Okay. Do you have an opinion on that, Fred?
No, that's, I mean, we need people. You know, so, I mean, if you feel comfortable.
I'm going to see who's coming back. I think there's a few kids that are going to be coming back this year, and I'm going to be starting the interviews.
So if we end up shorthanded, it is something that we could bring to council and possibly do.
Yeah, I want to see how many kids we get, because we only had 28 last year, so if we don't get a good turnout, we don't need a lot of staff, so. A lot of times when I mean, even though it looks like I have a lot of staff, not all of them come in every day. So they all have their own lives, and they have other jobs. So I have to make sure that I have staff there every day. So sometimes it looks like I've hired more than I need, but not in reality, because they're not there.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I think if we're shorthanded and we need a camp counselor, and if they have children, you know,
Yeah, I
a
mean,
small discount wouldn't hurt.
we're going to
but-
do registration first, and then we'll hire
See what we
based
have.
on what we need.
Okay, we have a question from Jennifer Allen.
Dan, I just wanted to say the trips combined come up to just under $103 for each partner. And the trips used to be paid ahead of time. You would check off what trips you wanted to send your child on, and you would pay that fee for that trip ahead of time.
And it wouldn't be in that original
No.
$350 or $400 fee. It was extra.
Yes.
Well, I used to be, I know with the movies, the children always, I remember our grandchildren always bringing their money that day to go to the movies.
Right, the $2 on Tuesdays and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
I'll tell you what happened my first year.
Okay.
Money was collected at the park, and then it was stolen out of the filing cabinet. So I'm trying to keep the money done ahead of time, just in the registration fee, and to try to get, like, to have half the camp going on field trips and half not going. You have to have people at the park watching kids, and then you have to have people on the field trip. So that's more staffing. A lot more to keep track of.
If it's in the fee, why wouldn't they all just go on the trip?
Oh,
If it's
it is in the fee. I mean, that's why it's in there. That is the fee to go on all the trips.
So then no one's left behind.
Right.
Unless they're sick and they're staying home that day. Okay, okay, that makes more
Because
sense.
half the staff would stay back to be at the park to watch the other half of the kids.
If I remember correctly, that's why we did it, just for that
Right.
reason.
Because you have to have more staffing.
Right.
And you got to have good leaders too. They have to be there. You can't just leave a bunch of kids there, college kids. That's a lot of responsibility.
Right, so they all, it's in the fee, they all go on the trip.
Right, whatever that fee is going to be, that's going to include.
Now, if they're under 30 children and camp counselors, say the whole group is under 30, don't we just take our own bus? Our village bus?
For the field trip, we take the Bedford school bus, because our buses, we don't have enough seats.
I
Even
thought we
with
had-
28 kids and counselors, I don't have enough seats with both of our buses. So
How do
we
we do
have
the
to take the
seniors then?
Bedford, we take the Bedford school bus, so it's really just 7 times that we take the school bus.
And that was the 718 at the bottom, that's,
Exactly. When we go to the lake, we take our buses, and we take multiple trips,
shuttle.
because it's right around the
Okay.
corner.
Right. Okay, I thought that bus fee was 4,000. Did I have a wrong figure?
No, that was, last year they sent us an invoice for $4,800 and it was incorrect. So I'm trying to get that money back.
Okay.
I never saw the bill though until end of last year. That was from '23. So I'm trying to
So
get that
we're
money back.
Requesting a refund for the
Exactly. And
difference.
I told Nicole, don't pay the $700. I'm in contact with them. And they're looking into it right now.
Okay,
So they should be calling me back.
okay. You'll let us know whenever they
Yes.
get back with
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Okay.
Should be soon.
Okay.
I'm going to be out for a while, so I'm trying to get all this stuff taken care of before I leave.
And what is our opening day of the Parker program?
Opening day is June 16th until August 1st.
And August 1st is their little party?
Yes, we always have a party.
Okay.
Now, the fee, does that get voted on with everybody from council?
We already had that at a COW.
Yeah.
Oh, it's already been taken care of.
And-
So I can go forward with that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I would say it shouldn't be a problem.
I,
I don't think it has to change an ordinance.
since we have head of council, Mr. Whedon here,
Oh.
I believe we approved that, Mr. Whedon, is that correct?
Good evening, everybody. I cannot answer that off the top of my head, whether or not that was something we discussed or something we voted on. I can't.
I'm not sure, but I didn't think, I think we talked about it, but it was something that we didn't have to vote on. I think it was, we could, I mean, we agreed.
Right, there was no ordinance to
We
change
agreed upon
on it.
raising the fees, because it was an agreement for the all of council, so. But as far as voting on it, as far as an ordinance, I think, I wish Mr. Montello was here, I don't think we had to have an ordinance to change it. Maybe when Mr. Montello comes, we can ask him.
Yeah, we can probably find out tonight at our COW when he shows, and then let you know for tomorrow morning if you're going to start printing out the sheets and getting that public on the website.
Okay.
But I thought we were all in agreement for it,
We were-
and I didn't think we had to have any kind of change in an ordinance and put it for voting.
Maybe if Mr. Spitznagel is listening, he texted me here once, maybe he could, yeah,
He might actually.
he may know. You weren't here, Mr. Spitznagel is under the weather, so he has the flu, so that's the reason he's not here.
Does anybody else have any questions about the Parker program, or,
He just texted me.
oh, maybe it didn't come through then?
Mr. Spitznagel says he believes we changed the ordinance, so we could raise the fees, so. But we'll have to check on that. Yeah, he's saying that we change it or not. Says he thinks that the fees in the ordinance aren't specific, so in other words, we could change them.
Oh, yeah.
The ordinance is there, so we can change the fees the way we want. Nicole, is there a way for you to check on that? Or is- Okay.
Do you want me to move on?
Okay, we can go to summer events.
Summer events. So I have a community garage sale planned for Thursday, July 31st through Saturday, August 2nd. I have a community concert planned with the Mick and Rick Band. They play classic rock, soul, and blues from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's going to be on Wednesday, August 20th. I have not heard from the baseball team to see if there's going to be a game, but I'm sure they'll be calling.
Hopefully against the Babes. We had
Yeah.
a really good time this past July.
Yeah, they haven't called me yet. But those are the summer events that we have planned.
I'd say it was a lot of old guys, but two of them I went to school with.
Well, we won in 2024. That was a big surprise to everyone that we were able to beat the Babes.
So we're 1-1, right? This year will be the tiebreaker.
Okay, tiebreaker this year.
So the next item on the agenda is the facility event coordinators. I had mentioned that they're making currently $75 for each event, but sometimes they're faced with being there all day for a wedding or a larger event, and they're there for many hours. And I think we have Bobby and, oh, okay, Brian's here too. Okay.
Hi.
So he must have walked in. So Brian Rott, he's one of our residents, and he's a facility event coordinator, if you haven't met him yet. And this is Bob Bree, and they both are our facility coordinators, and we also have Debbie Deek Kozak, but she's not here. So we started out with 6 coordinators, and we're down to 3. And partly, I think, because of the fee. So, and they reached out, we met a couple weeks ago and kind of went over things, because it's been a year, and they were having some issues, so we kind of, went through the issues, so everybody was aware of them, see if anybody else was having any issues, and just communicated on how we can go forward. And we took care of most of those, and this was one of them that was left, so I wanted to bring it up since we were having a meeting. And they had suggested $150 as a fee to cover those long days that they're there. I don't know if either one of you want to speak? Okay, come on up.
Yeah,
Okay, good
definitely.
evening. I don't even think I need this.
Well, I think they can't.
We need it for the filming to
You're-
be.
you're on camera.
You're on, yeah, they
You're on camera.
they record the meeting, so
You'll be
everyone.
on TikTok later.
No.
I am Bob Reed Jefferson Benton. I am a Walton Hills resident. I live on Rochelle Drive. I started a year ago, and it is $75 an hour. And Brian and I were like, okay, we can do this. But keep in mind, this is not just opening and closing. Like Natalie said, we're here the entire time to give you.
It's not $75
I wish it was $75 an event. But just to give you an example of one of my long days, 11-hour days, the setup was at 9 a.m. They were supposed to be done by 12 noon for the setup. Then, of course, I could take a break and come back at 3. They weren't done. The balloons weren't there. The caterer wasn't there. Their cupcakes weren't there. The whole setup wasn't done until about 2:30. I couldn't leave. There's no way I can leave because my responsibility is to be there. And with my work ethic, I'm not going to leave if I'm supposed to be there. So then it lasted till 8. That's an 11-hour day.
Was this a wedding?
No,
Or-
this was a retirement party. Now, you divide that up, that was $6.81 an hour. My time is worth more than that. So, mm-hmm.
So I'm going to probably get to, because most of these big events are in the banquet, where you do get a higher fee.
Okay.
I think, wouldn't you agree? The weddings,
There are a lot.
they're mostly in the banquet.
You know, this is usually a pretty easy job, but when you have a lot of people and you've got to watch, are you putting stuff on the wall? Are you taping this? Are you turning the oven off? Are you turning the oven on? Are you sweeping up? We're like babysitters. So I haven't gotten any pushback yet, but some people don't want to do what I'm asking them to do. Again, for $75, not an hour, for a fee, that's what our concern is. And that's why we only had 3 people left out of the 6, in addition to the driver's license drop-off. Okay, nowhere in Walton Hills. I have to go and pick up the key and leave my driver's license. So if I'm there and I need to run out for a minute, I wonder if I get stopped and I don't have a driver's license. Then what am I going to do? Oh, I work for Walton Hills. We don't give about Walton Hills. You know, you don't have your driver's license. So that was a big concern also. So those were my notes, possibly, maybe even if not 150, which we wanted, maybe a sliding scale. $75 for 4 hours and maybe an amount, $25 every other hour. So just something for you guys to consider because there's no incentive for us to keep coming to do this for $75, which is going to leave you in a bind.
Would you agree that most of those long ones are in the banquet room?
Most of the long ones are in the banquet room.
So we do collect a little bit more for that.
Mm-hmm.
Big room.
Mm-hmm.
I know when a year ago, we raised the rental fee to be able to pay them.
Right, to pay the
And I hate to
75.
raise it again, but maybe, we could look at maybe giving them more.
Do you happen to have a list of how many rentals we had for 2024? How many were in the larger banquet room, like weddings, retirement dinners?
There
that-
are a lot because I have gotten requests to do at least 4 or 5 already, and it's just February. So there are a lot coming up. And I know you keep saying the banquet room, but still you have to look at our hours sitting there. We don't get to leave. So,
Right, but I think more, the bigger events are mostly in that bigger room, and those are the longer ones. Those are weddings, I think retirement party that you're talking about.
probably,
Yeah.
I'll give you that, because the smaller room's about 6 hours.
They're usually showers or birthday parties,
Mm-hmm.
smaller.
So,
There's a little more leeway there.
Yeah, with the smaller, the smaller parties, you're all right with that? Is that?
I'm not all right with it. It's not an 11-hour day.
But you're not the one cleaning. I know I've been to baby showers and wedding showers.
They have to
and
clean up, but we have
we
to sit
did our
there
own
and wait for
cleanups.
them to clean up, which is what we bought up.
Okay.
Even though the event's supposed to be over at 6, we can't leave until they clean up everything. So I may not be out of there until 7:30
So you're the first one there, last one till?
for $75. So, thank you.
Jennifer, a question?
That in fact, the reason we were looking at the event coordinators was so that we had a vetted person that would be able to get the key, not leave your driver's license,
Right.
and open and close the facility, but maybe for the driver's license part, because I agree, they're here, maybe we can get an officer to open the facility at the time, and then the security officer that's working the party would lock it and
The only problem with that is we don't always have an officer on duty for the party, and then there may not be one available at 9 or 10 when they're coming to decorate.
every party has to have security there.
Yeah, but they don't
thought it
stay
was
for the
alcohol.
cleanup. They'll leave, they're gonna wanna be paid for the cleanup time. And they leave right when their money is done.
Okay, well, we'll have to talk to the chief. I know the police chief is the one that has
I talked to him
that
about,
stipulation.
yeah.
We only have 3 residents. Now I know your faces, and I know Debbie's, so I know the 3. So I don't think, I have to check with the chief to see what the reason is to leave a driver's license
So I already
behind.
talked to him, I've talked to him numerous times about this. So he definitely wants a license, and he's not gonna bend. He said he will make a copy if they needed a copy to keep, that was the only option. You can talk to him. I talked to him a few times.
We'll talk to him. We'll-
Since you're all residents, why can't they make a copy? Why don't Why do you need our address?
It's probably already on file, because you had to fill out
He-
paperwork to be an employee.
It's incentive to bring back the key. I think that's what-
Exactly. Because we've had people that don't bring the key back. With that,
But
that
then we
was in
know
the
who has
past.
it. We
That
know
was in the
Brian
past.
signed out, he came, or you have the list, Brian did that event, now we have no key. So we know he's got it. I mean, it would be a problem. It is a problem if there's only one key. Let us check with the chief, one more time and see about our 3. That would save you a lot of time and the whole day of not having your driver's license if it is a full event.
Right, and having the police off, they won't come and open up because they might be on a call.
Right.
That's the
I
other.
don't
We've
see
tri-
them
we've
opening or
asked all these
closing.
questions. It Didn't go anywhere.
No, we will double check again.
Okay.
And see if that part can get worked out. We will have to go in front of council and see about an increase. That is, a full day, like you said, 11 hours for $75. You don't have a list of how many large
So-
events we have compared to how many small events?
We don't have a database, so we can't create a list. It's in Outlook. That's how we keep track of these. We don't necessarily know, like, even if you were to print a list, we don't know exactly what they're doing that day because, like she said, they were planning to be done by 12 and they didn't get done till 2. So that happens all the time. So it's basically they're telling me if, their time, about their time. It's
Well,
not
it all
really
fall
on
back on
paper.
the person renting.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
that
get
fee,
it.
if we're
They
increasing
get it-
anything.
Yeah, they
it would
get it
go
all
back.
day, so, but you really can't gauge ahead of time if they're gonna be there 11 hours. They tell me that afterwards.
And one other thing, it is $75, but it's taxed. So,
It's a 1099.
Natalie, in the case that she was talking about where they were supposed to be done setting up at noon and they didn't finish till 2 or 2:30.
Right.
Is there something in the contract that says they pay extra for those hours?
No, they get it the whole day.
So.
It's not an
so
hourly
it doesn't
thing.
matter, they could be there all day setting up.
Exactly.
Okay.
and it takes them down, I had been in the small room, but she didn't come to take down the balloons until like an hour and a half after.
And a lot of them have the balloon person, the caterer, right? The DJ, and they're all meeting them there at different times too.
Let's see what this one did.
Well, that's why I say I've been there for bridal showers and stuff, but I've never, we seem to all help because it's a family or friend having the party, and we're all collecting, cleaning the tables, trying to get it all done and not leave a mess whatsoever and get that garbage out of there. But
And, we'll try to encourage the renters to come on Friday if they have a Saturday event to try to set up so that when we're there, so that they don't have to be there. So we've done that a lot, try to get them to come, bring their
yeah,
stuff.
if you don't have a Friday night
Yeah,
party.
come during the day when we're here, you can set up, you can bring your stuff. This way they don't have to come in. So we've done that a lot, to save them the time.
There's, Mr. Spitznagel was sending us, because he was on the council with us, so,
Well,
on the board.
Councilman Nielsen, if I could say, when we were talking about creating that position too, the thought process and the idea was not that you would be stuck there for 11 hours or 6
That's-
hours.
Right.
That initially you would be there to open the facility,
Correct.
go through the facility with the party, who's responsible. There's nothing on the walls.
Thank you.
Kitchen's perfectly intact, there's no holes in the walls or anything like toilets or flushing. And then for them to have their contact info so that you could go home and if something went wrong with the toilet or the ice machine is spitting out ice all over the floor, then you would be called back. And
What made it change then, Natalie?
From what I understand, they were supposed to be there, they're supposed to be there the whole time. Somebody is supposed to be in that building the whole time.
Well, we have the resident that's renting it.
Right, but a lot of these aren't residents that are renting. It's, sometimes they're friends of the resident, am I right?
But the resident has to be there.
And
That's part
not
of the
necessarily are they.
Well,
Then
So-
we can't rent it if they're not able to come.
Well,
They'd
you
be
don't know
there.
that till that day, and it's happened before. I wish Debbie was here because Debbie will tell you. Right.
That
I
the
don't know.
resident is
I don't
signing
know
the
if it's happened to you
contract.
two, but I know Debbie, it's happened. Okay. So it's happened to Debbie. And Debbie's gone up there at 9 o'clock when they said they were gonna be there, and they didn't show up till 11. There's all kinds of things that happen. To waste their time, yes. I would definitely recommend that somebody be there at all times.
Mr. Whedon?
Yeah, I just, 11-hour day is unbelievable that somebody is on duty for 11 hours. No matter what they're getting paid, that's a long day.
yes.
In terms of the setup period, is there a window, perhaps set up, each renter has a 2-hour setup window. If your event starts at 4, you can come in at 2. If the event starts at 2, you can come in at noon. Some kind of restriction. And here's your window of opportunity. I don't know how we got to all day.
That's how I understood it.
To curtail.
That's how it's always been.
The hours, yeah, that's.
They had to come in anytime after 9.
No,
No.
no, that's
Not working.
Well, and every event is different, so if you have a bigger event that's gonna take them longer to set up.
Explain their space. If the
So-
balloon people
Yeah.
do what they need to do, the cake people need to do what they need to do, the DJ, there's plenty of room and plenty of doors for people to get in and get out.
Yeah, 8 hours is, 11 hours is.
It's a great place.
And don't get me wrong, that doesn't happen every event.
No, I
It
understand.
isn't. It's the bigger ones. It's the ones in the banquet room.
But if it happened once, it could happen again, and that's,
Oh, it's happened many times, yeah.
The resident not being there needs to be addressed
That needs to
immediately.
Yes.
And it needs to be brought to someone's attention. I don't care if it's the police chief that has to be called, they get a hold of that resident, you're not having the party. If you're not gonna be there and follow the rules, shut it down.
It's easy, I mean, it's easier said than done. She tried calling that person, she didn't answer, so.
There's gotta be some.
Do we not give the security deposit back then at that point? They broke the rules. It's costing us more money to have it without that resident. I mean, wouldn't that be a better, one of the reasons, besides any kind of damage or not cleaning up, to keep part of that
I have
security deposit?
recommended keeping deposits, and I don't think that's being done. But Nicole can answer that, right? Do you know the answer to that? I said I've requested deposits be kept, but I don't think that's being done.
Mayor keeps the deposits for a certain period of time.
No, I mean keeping the deposit.
Not giving it back
Not
to the
giving it back.
resident if there's something going wrong.
I think there's been a few times that we have.
I don't know what happens here. I can only tell you what I recommend.
I think you should give $1,000 fine if the resident is not paying.
Well, they shouldn't be allowed to rent again.
Yeah, right, then they broke the rules to,
But again, like, unless they tell me, I don't know this stuff, so.
Right.
I actually just found out about the one when we had our meeting because I didn't know about it. I know she had some issues getting a hold of her that day because she called me. It was a Saturday. And I told her what to do, and, but I didn't know that she never made it there.
yeah, we need to have it, say there's a wedding and they're gonna come in and decorate at 9 in the morning, so 9 to 11, they need to have other people, they need to be told from 9 to 11, everybody's come on in, balloons, cater, whatever needs to get done in the morning, and then it's locked at 11 or 12, whatever the agreement is, and then everybody comes back at 4 for the ceremony or
Yeah,
party, then you're back at 4. I mean, it's still, we still need to discuss an increase. I mean, when you've got these bigger parties, a baby shower, wedding shower, these little birthday parties.
Well, we did increase it a year ago.
Mhm.
I said there's a little bit more money there to be able to pay them a little bit more for those banquet room. Those are the ones I think that are the.
That
you
are
know,
harder.
I think are a little longer.
What is your question?
If we do a 2-hour setup, I legally let, I would have to take the key back to get my driver's license back.
Well, we're gonna work on that. We're, okay,
Yeah,
that's on my list to work on and discuss
luck.
thoroughly,
That can be worked out, that's.
because it's 3 faces. Maybe we'll get a 4th back again or something, or 5 like we used to have, once we work out these bugs. We don't know if you don't tell and Natalie come to us and we all work together on making this work. And possibly keep some kind of running event. We have 1 wedding a year. Do we have 5 weddings a year? Do we have, you know, how many times are we using the big room, the little room? TG Young, you rent that out too, so there doesn't seem to be any problems with that. Renting that?
No, there's problems with that one too.
And then our
I
small
have
community room
to-
here.
With the TG Young Park, I had, a couple years ago, I had to have it cleaned before the event because people were going up there and having parties without renting it, like on a Friday night. So now I have the cleaning person go in there before the event and after because the residents were getting it when it was a disaster. They had garbage in the garbage cans. It was used and it was abused.
Now, do our event coordinators work with them
No.
up there at all?
No.
How about our community room here, if somebody's renting it? Do
They
they-
don't go to the community
They don't go to
room.
that one either?
No.
Okay, just,
Just the event center.
okay.
Yeah.
Natalie, aren't the, not to get too far off the subject, but aren't those gates at the at TG Young Park supposed to be locked at a certain time?
And no, well, at dusk, I think, when
If
they'll close them.
when
At the
people
end
are
of the-
having parties earlier in the day and,
Sometime between, usually Saturday afternoon, probably Friday nights. That's what I can figure. One of them was Mr. Anderson. He's the one who told me about it. His wife called me and told me that, somebody had already had a party there. And we had cleaned on Friday after camp. So it had to be between camp, 4 o'clock, and sometime Saturday morning. And that happened quite a few times. It wasn't just that one. So I just make it a point to have the cleaning person to go there before and after, just to make sure.
when people rent the pavilion or rent anything, do you hand them some kind of a certificate, some kind of, and so it's marked and so
Yes.
if the police go up there or they show up at the, and this is the
They get a
hours
sign.
and this is the time,
Yeah.
and if they don't have that, then
If I can, I don't know how that would really work, because it is our public park, that if I
Right.
wanted to go Saturday afternoon, where we have grills installed, and it's just a small family thing,
Yeah.
But if somebody rents it, they have first dibs on it. So I give them a sign, a laminated sign to post, so that they don't have to get into an argument with anyone. They've got they've got a permit, basically.
That they rented it from
That they
12 to
rented it
4 or
out.
something
Yeah.
what,
for a party.
yeah, the thing is that she's saying in the evening though that, that somebody's going in there after you're gone.
Right. You
so
asked me if
that's-
there was any problems. Yeah, that was the one problem we've had.
That's the one problem, so.
People are not renting it. They're just not honest. They're just using it.
Well, but there's also families that just go up there to go on a walking track, or
Oh,
people
yeah.
play on the playground and stuff.
And cook hot dogs on the grills.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you can't stop
But
that.
no.
No, just a few.
Right.
No.
A few people is not the problem. It was their big groups of people that are
Big
going.
parties
Yeah.
is what she's saying.
Or the garbage cans are full and it's a disaster. The bathroom's a mess.
Yeah, families up there, that happens all the time, I see that.
And people will move out of there if they know somebody's renting it. So they've never had a problem. As long as I give them a sign, they're fine.
Mhm.
But you asked me if I had problems, yes.
Well, that's-
And that's how I've been kind of controlling it. is having somebody go up there before and after.
Mr. Spitznagel, he did text that the ordinance is written in a generic fashion so that council doesn't have to approve, you know, we can make any changes that we need to
For an
make, so,
increase in the
Yeah.
event coordinator's pay?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the new fees that you guys recommended, that's okay with everyone?
For
on
the
council?
Parker program?
Parker,
Okay.
Yes.
yeah, the whole-
And that didn't need to get voted on either, but we did discuss
Whole
all of
council.
it.
Yeah,
And
we
for
did-
those,
we
so
did
definitely
agree.
go ahead and go through with the
And they
increase on
understand
that.
we're not covering staffing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do know that. It's a benefit of living in Walton Hills and having our marvelous programs, that and many others. Our event coordinators, we will discuss with them and the mayor. We're not going to make a decision tonight. I definitely feel we're missing something there. It's definitely should not be a whole day event for a wedding to plan, that they have to stay that whole time. We definitely need to figure out, make sure the person signing that contract is there.
Yeah.
Well, and
So,
it's like Mr. Whedon's also, 11 hours, I mean, you know.
and they didn't even give you a little bonus.
Yeah,
I mean,
if somebody
that's-
has to come in and take the balloons down, like you were saying, they can come in and, I mean, that's ridiculous, you know, so. We agree with it, that's for sure.
So I guess probably there's two options, an hourly rate, or you give them limits of how long they can be there for setup and an event, I guess. Or
Yeah,
right,
Yeah,
or both.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you, Ray. Yes, both.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean,
There
it's
should be limits, there should be time set.
time set. you know,
It's never been like that, but we
Yeah.
can do
well-
that.
Well, it's obvious they're
Yeah.
taking.
I don't know if
advantage.
it's in an ordinance that way. Yeah, I mean,
No,
You know, they're just taking advantage of the situation, I mean,
I think it's just, if it's a wedding, it's a longer setup.
And,
It's a long-
and problems
lot more
happen
stuff.
at weddings, yes. Somebody doesn't show, the flower lady didn't show.
There's a lot
I mean,
more
the
to do.
deliveries are running behind. I mean, there's always gonna be reasons and things.
And
I
I
mean,
believe
Mr.
the retirement party you're talking about was the Bedford
I'll agree.
mayor. Okay,
If they're
that was a
there
big
for
party.
an 8-hour or 9-hour wedding, we should be,
Yes.
Oh, it wasn't the
Yes.
mayor, it was
we
the
will
chief.
put it on.
Right, yes.
What if, on a couple things, not only at the hours, you know, in the contract stating you have X amount of hours to set up, you have a contract for the facility for this length of time. If you exceed that time, that either one, the deposit could be increased to make it worthwhile. I mean, if you're looking at, oh, the microwaves broke or this or that, is it a big enough deposit that is down on it that it could be, well, they exceeded their setup time by 2 hours, they are here, then it's coming out of their deposit.
Deposit, right. That's what I basically said before, that part of the security deposit should help, if we keep part of it, help compensate at that point.
If you're talking, oh, there's damage on the walls, or they nailed to this, nailed to that, that could be a
But if they don't know there's only a 2-hour setup or a 3-hour setup,
It's all day.
then, yeah, they need to have restrictions. So it's not an 11-hour day for our person getting $75 or that plus whatever we can work out here.
Yeah,
We can also talk about a definitive with the end time. If you put the end time at 6 PM, the stores will lock at 6 PM.
Right, cleanup doesn't start at 6.
There is an end time.
Your balloons, your deposit is kept. 6 PM.
Right.
Close. That's it.
On the contract, it does say the end times for certain days and everything, but their event time, they usually give us. And I don't know how long, do they usually get out on time? Or are they lagging behind?
The next event I have is set up at 9, the event start time is 12:30, the event end time before start. That's the we're thinking we're looking at.
Right.
Didn't start.
Okay.
And it does say on there that this is the time that you're walking out the door. It does say that on there.
Just hold on.
out of the building. We did add that a few years ago. Yes.
$100 an hour every hour there.
Yeah, if the event ends at 6, then it's hard for them to get out of there by 6 if they don't start the cleanup at 5.
I
It's
think,
not,
I think there's an ordinance for all these fees, right?
no.
I believe
As
there
far
is.
as I know, it's generic in the ordinance.
For the rental?
So if there's an increase,
Oh, okay.
which I definitely
That,
feel it should be at some point on some of these events, but I think we need some control on how long they're still, I mean, because how much is enough for an 11-hour day? We can't have that happen. You know, it needs to be realistic.
I could see a wedding or something go, but what she was saying that it just was ridiculous. I mean, if it's a small party, it goes 11 hours, it's, you know,
It was the retirement party.
And there's usually alcohol, and there's usually a police officer then also.
Yeah, it was the police chief for Bedford. He retired, and it was a big party.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be
It just-
very big.
It's a
That-
big
yes,
party. Yeah.
Yes, I understand that.
Hey, everybody. Oh, you still in your meeting?
Hi,
I'm
John.
sorry.
Oh, no, we didn't, I'm sorry.
Well, we can
We're-
use you.
We're in the rec meeting, almost done.
We can come up, council up with a rate or a fine if the resident is not there, a per hour fee after your event time if they're not out. Parameters, because you could theoretically have a wedding that's gonna start to set up at 8 o'clock in the morning and is allowed to go until 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
We gotta really look at that.
Yeah, I definitely feel an increase is needed, no matter how we look at any of this on their pay. So, once we get this other stuff controlled, we need to figure that out. The security deposit, you know, if any
I
of
would,
that gets
yeah, and
kept.
I would recommend keeping
the
the money
time.
from the security, because you'll never get it after the fact.
But we need actual.
But you can keep part of that.
But the
Security.
the person renting needs to be the one there, and no exception on that. That is in the contract.
And that's something that I would have to know right away. Like, I'd have to know by Monday in the morning.
And the time. I mean, if there is extenuating circumstances, something else, you know, they still need to be compensated. So we definitely are in agreement that the pay needs to change. I mean, Fred and I both definitely agree to that, and
Brian also.
I believe, and Brian's on the committee too.
I just look at a flat rate, you know, like, I'd say the 150 is reasonable after the tax, you take home about, you know, a little over 100. And, the long days will average out with the short days that were there, so it simplifies things, you know, just maybe a flat rate for us. It's, you know,
Do we have a checklist that they need to go through, like check the bathrooms, check the garbage? Is there check the kitchen?
yeah, I do all that, you know, I think.
But somebody new coming on, how would they know what they're supposed to do? Check.
I don't remember. I don't know if there's an actual checklist, but we had meetings and went over things.
Okay, if we can,
Yeah, because we had talked about it on council, about what needed to go, you know, what we needed to have them go over and what needed to be seen, and, you know, so.
so we have some problems we gotta work out, some bugs. We will let you know about the key situation again after another discussion, and we will definitely let you know about the pay. There's nothing all week, not till next weekend? Or when do you have your next event?
Probably the weekend, yeah.
Next weekend. It's gonna be Valentine's Day, so I'm sure somebody's gonna be.
Yeah, it's been kind of busy.
Okay,
Likely.
so we will, any other issues on those?
I will bring this up. There are some events that we don't have a coordinator because all three of them are not available.
And then you or Ronnie
Do
are
you
opening?
need me to start advertising for more? Should I try and get more event coordinators? Because sometimes none of them are available. I just had that March 8th one.
Well, I would think if we had 5 and we're down to 3, you would have an opening.
Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
can't, we haven't advertised for one, but I can. I was thinking about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
We started out with 6, so.
It's just hard to interview and tell them something if we're in the middle of this week of changing.
Oh, it's not gonna
Okay.
happen that fast.
Okay, well, I don't know,
I
get
just
it out
thought,
there.
let me start looking
Okay.
for somebody else.
No,
And
to help
more
out.
people may be interested at, you know, at a little higher.
Yeah, we've had quite a few events where we haven't had an event coordinator. They've had to come and get the key. So,
the resident.
because I didn't have one, yeah.
I'm sure they understand if they need to
Yeah,
come
they're
here,
fine.
get the key, sign in, sign out. If it's a small party, they probably have no problem handling that. Our other thing on the list, because we are running behind here, the door security camera. I'd like to get that hooked up, so I will double check again with the mayor and Rob and see about having that camera just on that front door there.
Yeah, it's sitting in my office.
And it's already been sitting there for
It's been there
quite
for
some
over 5
time.
years.
So if we can make use of it,
Yes, that would be great.
I would definitely like to do that. Do we have any other questions from anybody? Anyone, anything? Then I'd like to ask for a motion for adjournment.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting of, what is it, February 4th, at 7:07.
Okay, second. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.